What is going on, guys? It is Brickgeneral here with probably the most different video I've ever made on this channel. For all the returning subscribers, you know that I mainly do gaming content, but recently a company has really ticked me off. In today's video, I'll be talking about why I believe that CollegeBoard is the worst company in the education industry, and probably one of the worst companies, period. So for those of you that don't know what CollegeBoard is, I'll explain. They're the company that administers the SATs and the AP tests. Now, the SAT is a standardized test here in the United States that every college in America accepts as a sufficient entry exam, while AP exams are like exams taken in high schools by students that they take to try and get college credit so they don't have to take the classes in college, and they save money that way. So from the surface, it may seem like they're actually a pretty good company. They allow students to save money by taking tests so they don't have to pay for expensive college credits, and they allow colleges to have an easy way to filter their students, I guess. Think about this, it may seem like this is actually great help for people and saving students a lot of money, but I'll talk later about how this goodwill is misplaced and is actually non-existent. I'm going to start by talking about the SATs, which all my American viewers should know. If you don't know, it's supposed to be a standardized test that all college-bound high schoolers can take for colleges to judge them off of. And in theory, the SAT does do that. It allows students to take one test, and it allows the colleges to easily filter this one test and filter the students into basically categories, and they can cut off students based on if their SAT score is not high enough for the school. For example, if you have a very selective school like the University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, one of the Ivy League schools, they would probably cut off anybody that's not at least like a 1480 SAT, which is top 1%. But the problem is not with the SAT. In theory, it is how it is executed. The SAT, as it was intended, was supposed to be an IQ-based test that you're not supposed to study for, as you can't study for an IQ test. You're just supposed to take it and see how well you actually do. This, an IQ-based test that you physically cannot study for, would work great, as it gives all the conveniences of a standardized test while still fairly judging everyone. However, CollegeBoard quickly realized that it is far more profitable to make a stupid test that is not at all IQ-based, but on specific categories of learning: reading, writing, and math. The test is completely misguided and gives no actual gauge as to how intelligent or how college prepared a student is. All it does is basically shows them how much money they're willing to spend. Now, I already know some of you guys are headed down to the comments, coming for my head, and gonna say, oh, you're just mad you didn't get a good score. Well, actually, I don't mean to brag, but I scored a 1540 on the SAT, which is far better than the top 1% in the nation, so I don't want to hear none of it. Now, I know what it takes to score well on the test and can confidently say it is not a good test. Now, you'd think someone who scores well would praise the test and say, oh, it's a great measure. No, it's really not. I know it's not, because I've taken it and I've done well. Anyways, because it is based on actual areas of study, students can study for it and buy expensive review books that are actually made by the College Board. This is actually so annoying. I don't know about you guys, but it seems kind of hypocritical for an exam not meant to incorporate studying, is selling tools to study for it, and they're really expensive. I have a couple of them with me. You guys seen the massive SAT books. Those are pretty expensive. They come with a bunch of practice tests. As of the outrageous $70 College Board makes you pay per test administered is not enough. The test is no longer about how intelligent you are, but how much money you can spend on review books and expensive and overrated classes. A student who lives in a low-income area won't be able to afford expensive test books and prep because they either have to help their family or they just don't have the money for it. It doesn't make sense that they should be judged based on how much money they can spend on that. And the part that annoys me the most is that the only reason this test is even relevant is that colleges allow it to be. If colleges actually stood up to CollegeBoard about how absurd and quite frankly stupid their exam is, I'm more than confident the company will be out of business in a matter of weeks, no question. Now into the other scam CollegeBoard offers, advanced placement or AP tests. If you don't know what an AP test is, essentially high schoolers can take select AP classes that are extremely rigorous and usually the hardest classes at the school in a specific subject. There are several different subjects like AP Calculus, AP Chemistry, AP Physics, stuff like that, and take a test at the end of the year if they choose to for that class. The exam's on a 5-point scale, and if they score well enough, like a 4 or 5, the student can theoretically apply that credit to a college that they go and not have to take that class in college. I took 2 AP classes last year, European History and Computer Science, and I'm taking 5 this year. Calculus, English, AP Physics, and a couple other, I don't really care. So I'm more than familiar how the broken system works. The main problem, once again, with AP tests is not how it is in theory, because in theory it's great because it saves a lot of people money, but how greedy CollegeBoard gets. This year, CollegeBoard forced students to take AP classes to register for the AP test in November as opposed to February. Those of you not taking AP classes probably don't know what the big deal here is. This may not seem like a big deal, but it really is. Usually students decide if they're interested in taking the stress of the exam in February that takes place in May. And a lot of students just do not register, even though they're taking the class, because they don't think they're ready enough. They don't want to take the stress, whatever. They don't think they'll score enough. And that's completely understandable. If they're not good in a subject, but they still want the AP class gives a big boost in the GPA. They still want the GPA boost, but they don't want to take the stress of the exam. They can still take the class. But by requiring registrations 4 months earlier, in November, literally 2 months after school started, more students are bound to register, as they barely know if the test is going to be worth it. And then teachers are always pressuring them, yeah, you never know, you could score well. So of course they'll make tons of more money, because the AP test is about $100. Also, with all the CV stuff going on around the world, CollegeBoard has decided to shorten the curriculum of the AP test this year and possibly make the test online. Because they made all of us register in November instead of last month, these AP tests probably won't even hold any value to colleges, as they don't even cover all the curriculum. So we're basically getting scammed out of all of our money. And if you guys couldn't tell, I really think CollegeBoard has a massive monopoly on the education industry and is really the worst company out there. There are so many better companies like Khan Academy and Education that would be so much better suited in the standardized testing space. And hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more of these types of videos where I rant and just destroy companies, I got a few more on my list. I'm coming for you, Apple. You guys took down my video. And yeah, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.